if I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 37 of the Lugs podcast. I'm your host, AJ, who's pretty happy today. With me, as always, my co-host, Ryan.
AJ, what's going on? I'm surprised you didn't let out a big woohoo.
Oh, man. I let a lot of those out yesterday.
Man, I thought you were going to do that right coming on. Oh, he's got the shirt on. He's got the hat on. I see it in the background. I got my little Chase Elliott card right there. I don't think anybody can see that.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, there was woohoo. As you can see, I'm rocking the Slipknot shirt today. But AJ, it is a Monday. What are we doing on a Monday? Explain to the listeners, the viewers, what the hell are we doing on a Monday?
Well, I mean, besides the perfect opportunity to record on a Monday after a Chase Elliott win, in my respect, I mean, it would be the same thing if William Byron won on your end.
I need the undercars. How's that?
Every year we kind of have this thing when Madden comes out. We do our initial leagues, our fantasy leagues, and our dynasty leagues. So with that coming out tonight at midnight, we decided that for best interest of that league for tomorrow to record tonight, so this way we can get right on into it for our Madden season that we normally do.
Exactly.
So here we are on a Monday night after Chase Elliott wins at the Watkins Glen, or at the Watkins Glen, at the Glen.
Oh man,
what a weekend! What a race!
Both races were entertaining from start to finish. The crowd was excited. Saturday with the little precipitation that came through them running on the rain tires, unbelievable weekend. We sat at home Saturday, watched the entire Xfinity race. Sarah got really into that. Then after that, we went over to my cousin's house. He built some horseshoe pits Friday into Saturday, and we threw a couple games, but it was too humid out, and so we just BS for a little while, came home. Sarah yelling at the TV Sunday when Truex and Chase are right there, like, come on, Chase. She's yelling at the TV. I'm yelling at the TV. The dog spooked. Oh, man.
So I saw stages 1 and 2 at my house with about 30 to go. Well, actually, on that 37 lap to go run when DiBenedetto stopped on the track and they had those pit stops, I had a family dinner I had to go to, and I had to be there by 6.
Oh, no.
So I watched the race on the NBC Sports app on my phone in the car, and on the last half of the final lap, I had my phone blowing up. So I know, I'm not looking at any of the notifications because I don't want to get spoiled on it. So I'm like, he either won the race or he choked it away. One of the two has just happened.
Yeah, so, unbelievable, too. I know we're going to dive into it, but AJ, did you watch any of the Hall of Fame speeches over the weekend?
The only one that mattered, Randy Moss.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly on that. That one of the best to ever play the game. Just changed the game of football from a receiver standpoint, where he could just fly down that field. Like, look at that. Randall Cunningham, when Randall was playing with him, a little bit older, but he still had an arm. Same with Jeff George. Look at Dante Culpepper. All he had to do was throw it up. The year he played with Brady in New England, I knew you were getting ready to say that, but man, what a player he was. I had Ray Lewis on for a minute. I turned it off.
Yeah, the only one I was interested in was seeing that being because T.O. did his own little separate thing before the Hall of Fame. So at that point, the only guy I cared about there was Randy Moss. I wasn't a Ray Lewis fan. I'm still not a Ray Lewis fan.
Yeah, exactly.
And it has to stem from the Patriots-Ravens rivalry, which is why.
Okay.
But, I mean, regardless of that, it was a pretty solid weekend. I did catch most of the Xfinity race, probably about 3/4 of it. I missed the first stage. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Brian Dawkins had a nice speech too.
I did see Brian Dawkins as well.
Yes, how he was battling depression and everything like that, how he overcame that. Man, what an inspiration. That was a great speech. Moss's speech was good too. I mean, I like I said, I'm not a big Ray Lewis fan. I heard the Urlacher speech was good from a couple of our buddies, Josh and Dave, said that the Urlacher speech was really good too. Unfortunately, I missed that one.
And we're talking about football. The Polar Opposite Pigskin podcast was supposed to go last night, but then I had that pop-up family dinner, so we are going to try again for this weekend. I know Tony's dealing with some good news. Ryan, you have some good news of your own. I don't know if you want to say it or not.
No, it's going to be, we're going to do something a little bit. We're going to hold off a little bit. So, as you know, I'm going to the race this weekend. So that's another good news right there. And we're meeting AJ's favorite driver on Thursday.
Don't show him this episode.
We're no, we won't. But no, we're meeting Stenhouse and Bain on Thursday at Roush, and then just going out to the racetrack this weekend. So it's going to definitely be a fun weekend. Got a couple ideas planned in my head right now that I'm going to surprise the wife with. So
now
it's going to be a good weekend.
I know that you won tickets to the truck race. Are you going to that Friday or Saturday?
We're still up in the air. We're still debating on that right now. If I don't go, I know my buddy Ryan, who I'm going with Sunday, is going to be going out there. So I don't know if he's going to take anybody out there or what.
Hey, Tony just said in our YouTube chat, "Oh, Ricky, show him a Danica and Rogers photo." Get him to sign that.
Oh man, how crazy would that be to show him that? Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you get kicked out of the entire shebang they're having there.
Oh, it's funny too. I think it was Thursday or Friday last week. My buddy Ryan gives me a call, let me know that he got the tickets. We had to step back. Oh, we were going out to visit my mom, who broke her arm, by the way. She was painting 2 weeks ago Sunday, and she went to step on a step stool, fell back, and she broke her right arm. So she's got to eat opposite left-handed now. She can barely sign her name. And so we were going out there, and he had messaged me, called me. He's like, yeah, we're sitting this section, but we're sitting row 30. Sarah hears that, and she's like, oh, hell no. Because, the missus doesn't like heights. I can sit anywhere. I like it low, high, whatever. But she heard the row 30. She's like, oh, hell no.
Man, you got to get Sarah in. Like, when you go to Daytona, you want to sit high. Because
of course.
Down low you're going to see 200 laps of the cars going by one time. Like, you're only going to see them once.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to start breaking her that habit so she can get into some heights.
There's a couple of times she said high up. I think it was one year in June. We were, row 19? And then when we saw Ben Wallace get his jersey retired, we were up in the section 200s at the Palace.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, so she's done it. She doesn't like it, though, but she's done it, so.
I gotta say, Ryan, we're coming into like probably my favorite episode to record ever, because it was 3 years removed from our last junior win, which was our both favorite driver, and now seeing Chase win this weekend, it's kind of it's brought a lot of excitement into this episode. It's been a long time coming, and as a fan, it's great to finally see my driver back in victory lane.
Oh, man, the whole entire sports world was partying with that.
Oh, for sure. So, with that being said, I really want to dive into this week's episode. What do you say we get into some tire rub?
Let's do it.
Left side. Pull this number fender out, left side.
So we had the NASCAR Xfinity Series and the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series this weekend at Watkins Glen. On Saturday, we had Joey Logano getting the win after fending off a late push from Brad Keselowski. And boy, what a battle in those final 5 laps it was.
That it was, but I mean, going into that treacherous turn 1 at Watkins Glen, Keselowski lost the car, and then Logano, had a decent enough lead from third place where what was he on by to get the win. And I said it at the start of the show today, AJ, but man, that Xfinity race was something. You had a beautiful blue skies for the first stage. they're like, yeah, the weather's coming in, and it just poured down, and they put the rain tires on. I know we're going to dive into it some more, but wow, how cool is it they're going again?
All right, so I think we're back now, Ryan. It's not the Loose Lugs podcast without a little bit of technical difficulties.
Man, hey, you know what? We are. We're Kyle Busch's gas man right there. Couldn't get the fuel in the car.
You know, it always happens, it seems, when we're recording, like a really good episode that we have planned out, like a better one than we normally have planned out, it always just turns to crap real quick.
Yeah, what the hell is going on with that? Hey, this is it's just going to be a standard episode of the Loose Lugs podcast. Nothing really big happened. So and some good racing.
When you listen to this on the either Podbean or iTunes later or Stitcher, you're going to notice, like, wow, this doesn't make sense. This just cuts off in the middle. I'm going to try to seam it as much as I can, and hopefully I get this right. But regardless, we were talking about AJ Allmendinger when the wet condition tires were put on and the windshield wiper was put on, and he just took off like a bat out of hell, man. He was gone.
He never really ran. Oh, wow, that's going to be a tongue twister. Run in the rain before, even though he has the open wheel experience where they do run the rain tires and all that. He said when they were talking, NBC was talking to him after the stage win, he's like, yeah, I've never really run in the rain before, but hey, I like it. The rooster tails that were coming up off these cars when they went back. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, anywhere from 8th on back, can't see a damn thing.
No, not at all. Even if they have that windshield wiper blade going 100 mile an hour, man, you still won't be able to see. And hey, guess what? The Xfinity race, I'm glad they all ran the windshield wiper blade. The Cup race, yeah, we're going to dive into that. But man, the hydroplane, I'm surprised there was no more incidents with the rain there Saturday, because I remember Mid-Ohio when they did the rain. Spinning, sliding off the track, all over the place.
I mean, think about it, Ryan. The cameras that NBC uses in every sporting event uses them. It gives like a more lighter look to the track so you can see everything.
Yes.
So then you think about the actual look of the track after seeing what it looks like on TV, and it's 10 times worse than what it's showing. So
exactly.
Just continuing on with how I had the order set was Brad Keselowski got loose. He spun with 3 to go, trying to get it past Logano going into turn 1. But that rain, man, that NASCAR throws a red flag in there during that rain run, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know what happened, because when I was flipping from my phone to the TV, it happened in that stretch.
Yeah.
So I missed what happened, but I thought I saw someone say something about cleaning up barrels on the track.
Oh yeah, there was a wreck going into turn 1. They hit the tires that are right there, and they moved them back. So they had to get the tow truck in there, pull the car out, fix the barriers, and then by the time they were doing that, the sun was beating down on the track. Track got dry conditions. There was still a couple spots. Sweating, like Keselowski, like we said, he came in, got the slicks back on. He's like, enough with this rain tire. Went back out there. Then the stage ended, and then everybody went back in and got the slicks.
So what I had heard was it seemed like that red flag took a little bit of an extra amount of time than what was needed, really, to clean it up. And it kind of felt like they were waiting for that track to dry out so this way they could have a better race. And this is a conspiracy.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think, though, that they're looking at every ounce of safety on the track, not only for the drivers, but for the spectators, the workers of the track. They got to make sure everybody is safe, because I don't know. It's always at Sonoma and there that you have the guys, the NASCAR officials, right by the track for like the local yellows and all that.
Yeah.
I understand why they took their time on it, but with the wet track, I don't know. I mean, like you said, there is conspiracy there.
Yeah, I saw the conspiracy theory on Twitter after the race had already ended, and it struck me by surprise. I was like, well, where did I miss that at? You know?
Exactly.
So I guess it could have been considered a conspiracy theory in a sense.
It could have been, but hey, guess what? It still led to some great racing between teammates like Logano and Keselowski.
Yeah, that finish was something special. I mean, we've had, 3 weeks now where the finish of the Xfinity race has been awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing finish. Yeah, I mean, even though Logano, had a big lead, but when Keselowski was right there, if they weren't teammates, I think he may have put the bumper to him.
Honestly, that's why he spun.
Yeah, he didn't want exactly, especially tearing up 2 good race cars, which they had all day long. And unbelievable finish, unbelievable race.
Those 2 guys, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, they dominated this race from lap 1, and it was a clear cut who was going to win that race. It was either going to be the 22 or the 12. So
if the rain would have stayed out, AJ Allmendinger would have won that race.
No doubt about that, because everyone else is like fighting their cars and stuff through the corners, and Allmendinger just boop gone. There's
2 guys here in the top 5 that surprised me. Allgaier and Ryan Preece. Preece is not really known for a road racer, and Allgaier not really either. But man,
and who did I take last week?
I think you said Preece.
I did say Preece.
I did take Ryan Truex, who was doing good until the end where he finished 18th. So
this race started off a little funky because Tommy Joe Martin's his race ended on lap 3 when he got involved in the crash. It kind of sucks when and Joey Logano learned the next day. It kind of sucks when you bring a car all that way and it ends in the first 3 laps. You know?
Yep.
That's obviously not how you want your day to end.
No, not at all. Or to start, for that matter.
No, not at all. Justin Haley, Matt Tiff also got collected in a wreck there towards the end of this race, actually during the rain segment.
Yeah, it was like near the ending of the rain segment, and then that's when the other car went into the tire barrier. Like right after that restart, there was like 5 or 6 laps left to go in that stage, and then that's when the red flag came out. Some guys came in to get the slicks, and then some guys kept the ring tires on.
The unfortunate side of things was just the fact that was Haley's last race in the Xfinity Series so far this year. So
yeah.
For a guy who's had such solid runs when he's racing the Xfinity car this season, he was running up there again.
Exactly. I don't know if you can hear it, but it just did a little lightning and some thunder rolls over here.
We're going to get some Garth Brooks to do our theme song next week.
I like the All That Remains version. I don't know if you've ever heard it. Anybody ever heard it? Good version.
So your stage winners in this one, Ryan. First stage, Joey Logano. Second stage, the Dinger, AJ Allmendinger. And your race winner was Joey Logano. Your top 5, Joey Logano, AJ Allmendinger, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Preece, Eric Almirola. Some notable finishers to talk about. 9th place, Christopher Bell. Not really known for his road course racing, but a solid top 10 run for someone who's not considered a road course racer by any means. 11th place, Tyler Reddick. Seems like he might have been able to turn a corner this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
15th, Kaz Grala.
Yeah, oh, yeah. There's another guy you didn't mention. 8th place, Ryan Reed, normally known for the restrictor plate. 8th place at a road course.
I just leave Ryan Reed to you because I know you're going to tell me where he is every week.
Maybe this week, next week, I don't know.
I think it's like the last 3 weeks. I just put Ryan Reed down there on the Noble Finishers just to beat you to it.
Yeah, he should.
Your standings following Watkins Glen, Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, Ty Reddick, Cole Custer, Daniel Hemrick, Elliott Sadler, Brandon Jones, Ryan Truex, Austin Cindric, Matt Tiff, Ryan Reed, Ross Chastain, and your next race is at Mid-Ohio, another road course, this Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern on NBCSN.
Yeah, good time when they go to Mid-Ohio. They advertised a commercial for it during the Xfinity race on Saturday. I think it was just a local market, though. I guess they still have some good seats left, so if you guys want to, in the Mid-Ohio area, go check out the Xfinity race.
I mean, what are your other alternatives? Watch Brown's training camp?
Or you could do the Urban Meyer fiasco.
It ain't paying to be an Ohio State fan this week.
No, it's not. And oh man, if it was any other coach in this country, they would have been fired because it's Urban Meyer, and that's all that program cares about is winning. They're not going to do anything about it. A little slap on the wrist.
Oh wait,
hold on.
OH.
Sucks. I'll keep it PG. or PG-13. I can't say what I want to say.
Moving on, Ryan, to the race of the weekend. What?
So, yeah, I knew you were getting right. I was going to say, you're going to start OH when your boy wins the race, a great race. Let's get into that.
So, best race of the weekend, in my humble opinion.
Okay, good, because Ryan was about ready to have 3 rants.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series was at Watkins Glen, where Chase Elliott finally gets his first career win, and it has been a long time coming. Had Bill Elliott as his second spotter for the bus loop in that corner of the track, or the bus loop, the bus stop. Interloop, whatever you want to call it.
Carousel. What was Junior calling it, man? He had some fun. Man, I tell you what, that man had some fun this weekend out there at the bus stop.
I think it was Kelly Earnhardt had put on Twitter, his voice has to be hoarse today.
Oh, man, he got, oh, man, they get through the turn good. I'm like, oh, man, I told Sarah yesterday, after lap 1, I'm like, man, he's having some fun out there.
And Patrick in our YouTube chat just said Chase earned it, and there is no question about it. You know, I thought this was such a great race from start to finish, and it wasn't just because of the outcome of the race, which added to it, but this race to me was the most entertaining one I've watched this season, and that includes the 2 I went to.
I would have to agree. I mean, you got to think, though, the very first lap, from lap 1 to lap 90, side-by-side racing, beating and banging. Yeah, granted, the thing that it really didn't bother me, but like when Chase and Truex hooked up, what was it? Eric Jones like 20-some seconds back, something like that. And I actually don't look, 10 seconds back, something like that. But those 2 right there had a great race, a great battle between first and second. And like we said, go ahead.
I was just wanted to add to this with the Chase earned it. There's no doubt about it. When you lead 100, when you lead 52 laps of 90, which honestly, this race was way closer than that total states, because for a better part of 30 laps of that, it was running away from Truex.
Oh yeah, man. Like, how about?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's just, I'm watching this race and I see Chase jump out to that early 2-second lead in the final restart, and I'm like, oh my God, we might actually have this. And then that interval number started shrinking and shrinking, and then they show the distance between, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna happen again. I was telling Sarah too, I'm like, man, Truex is going to catch him. If he does catch him, is he going to put the bumper to him to, the whole big 3 conversation? Is he going to put the bumper to him? Truex raced him clean. They both raced clean with each other. I mean, I think if Truex had a little bit more fuel left in that car, he would have done something going into turn 7. I think he would have had a side-by-side finish. But ran out of gas. The bus stop there at the end killed Truex. What we thought.
Would come into the white flag. Yep.
We had thought. So then Truex regathers himself. I think the lead stretched out to what was it? Another second, I think it was.
Yeah, until turn 1.
1.3 was the lead. And then turn 1 happens. Chase overruns or overdrives the corner, has to slap it out of gear just to keep it straight.
Yep.
Somehow gathers it to get back in front of Truex, or to stay in front of Truex, I should say.
Yep. 9 times out of 10, somebody spins that car out in turn 1. Always at Watkins Glen. I don't know what it is about turn 1. I don't know if it's because you're carrying so much speed to that right-hander. You got to slow way down. Unbelievable piece of driving right there to keep the lead, come across that checkered flag first and get that first win.
And, Truex almost spun himself out there, too, when he tried to get around Chase. So, it was like, oh, now's my chance.
Yep. Well, there was go ahead.
It was such a great battle at the end, and it's a shame that Truex had to run out of gas, because that coming to the line right there, had he had more in the tank, you might have seen one of your closest finishes of the year.
Oh yeah, definitely. It would have been coming right down to it. What did he lose it? Ran out of gas going into 6, maybe 7, and you see him tail off a little. I still think he finished second because of the gap those two put on everybody. So,
and that was the thing.
Right.
Eric Jones, they came over his radio and said, "Listen, bud, need you to save here because if one of those two run out, or if both of them run out, this is your race to win, and I need you to save here." So, it was just
let's go ahead.
The battle between Truex and Chase, clean racing, hard racing, like Patrick just said, who's a big Martin Truex Jr. fan himself. There's no better way to get a win.
Exactly.
You pass Kyle Busch under green, and you hold off the defending champion, who had won, the last 2 road course races?
Yeah, Sonoma and Watkins gone the last year, yep.
So, it was awesome.
Speaking of Martin Truex Jr., I forgot to tell you, but part of the ticket package, we got a Q&A with Martin Truex Jr., so it'd be pretty cool to see. Like a media tent, stuff like that. It's going to be pretty cool to check that out.
Yeah, that's going to be fun for you guys.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. So,
and if it seems like we're being a little bit impartial this week or biased towards one driver, like I posted on Twitter earlier, we're fans first, podcasters second.
Exactly. But let's talk about early in the race, like when they dropped that green flag. Very aggressive driving from all 37 drivers. Logano, back end of Kyle Larson, slides off into the gravel pit right under Jeff Burton. He had a lot of cars over by him this weekend, Jeff Burton.
Yeah, he did. On the first lap, when you saw the way that Kyle and Hamlin were racing each other, I thought they were both just going to take each other out there.
I thought they did too.
They tried to, because there was one point where they were both sideways a little bit.
Oh, man. That was hard racing all the way around. But then, so Logano gets his damage, comes to pit road, goes right behind the wall, out of the race. And I know it was one of the other podcasts that said, you remember what podcast it was, AJ? Was it the Lab Traffic or was it PETM? It asked if Joey Logano get screwed.
That was me who asked that.
Oh, it was you asked that to everybody. I knew it was a podcast. I was at. I only read in small doses. But I think he did. I got a little bit of a rant here. Okay, if it's damage on the track, NASCAR has got to do a better job with communicating to the crews, you're on the damage clock. You're on the damage clock. I don't think that message was relayed to Ty Gordon in the 22 team. That's why they went behind the wall. That's why they were done. I think it was a lack of communication. Please, lack of communication. Fix our communication problems, especially with this now 6-minute clock.
So I just want to paint a picture here in case anybody might have missed it. So Joey Logano gets in the rear of the rear bumper of the 42 of Kyle Larson. It ends up breaking off a radiator hose, I believe it was officially.
Something about the oil pan, I thought, or something with the oil. So
it sends right at the, I forget what corner it is, but that hard braking zone when you go off the long straight where all the gravel pit is.
Going into between 6 and 7, I think.
Logano can't make the turn. He slides in his own oil or water or whatever, goes off into the gravel, doesn't hit anything. So Logano gets it going again, gets it to pit road. Obviously, it's not something that you can fix on pit road. It's a mechanical problem at this point. I didn't really think of it to be an accident. There was no caution thrown for a wreck, but that's kind of common at a place like Watkins Glen.
Exactly. I just
think that maybe this is a situation where you could have called it a mechanical failure because he kept going. It's not like any damage stopped him from racing. He had to come down to pit road. They assessed what happened. They had to bring it behind the wall to fix it. I don't know if they knew the crash clock was on at all, or whatnot, or if it was miscommunicated, because they didn't think they were on it because it was a mechanical problem. But either way, that early in the race, your day's done at that point. So what did it really hurt him? He's already got to win this year. He's already locked in.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was just because Letarte was. Letarte even said it during the broadcast that even if they get it fixed, he's multiple laps down, probably not a chance to come back. But guess what? It would have been a point day for him. More points because guess what? There's a couple cars that got out of the race as well. I just think that if there's no caution and you do bump into somebody like he did, he shouldn't have been on the clock. I mean, I don't know. Like I said,
I think I misinterpreted the rule when I saw it happen because I thought initially he got kind of screwed out of that.
Yeah, I did too. Granted, yeah, he did run into the back of Larson. It's considered contact on the track. But for them not to, I don't think the official even said, hey, you guys are on the crash clock. No, right? Come on, communicate.
Yeah, and maybe it was communicated, Ryan. Maybe we're not getting the whole story. I mean, that's a completely other thing.
I do like what Logano said in his interview. I don't know if you heard it. These cars are more fragile than an Indy car.
Yeah, he said maybe we should drive Indy cars around this place because then maybe, who knows? Maybe we stay off each other a little bit more.
Exactly. Ah, man. So, like I said, I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Maybe there's something we're not, like you said. Maybe there's something we're not getting.
The whole race though, as a whole, was just great.
Oh yeah, great
had
battles.
Had controversy too. It was awesome. Let's talk about the pit road issues we had, Brian, later on in the race after the first two stages.
Quite a bit of pit road issues.
So, what brings out the caution with 37 to go? Matt DiBenedetto, it looked like the entire engine grenaded right on the straightaway. He stops on the track. Caution gets thrown. Cars have to pit to make the fuel window, which was still close. They didn't even know if it was going to happen or not, So, I'm just making sure I still have you. It stopped for a second.
I'm here still.
Cars come to pit road. It starts off with Chase Elliott hitting his own tire changer, who was safe.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. He did the safe. I told Sarah, I'm like, the guy did the safe thing.
Hey, the rule states you can't service the car outside the box, not that the car can take the crew member outside the box.
Exactly. And then they mentioned it. I think it was on NASCAR Victory Lap. You know how Denny Hamlin, which we're getting ready to get to, left with the air gun, and that came back and that hit one of the guys right in the stomach, it looked like, and he went down. And I didn't hear if there was any medical update on them because I know they had the EMS there and all the track workers checking on these guys that got hit. But everybody's like, why did Hamlin get penalized and why Chase didn't? Chase didn't leave the box with any equipment. He just ran over the guy.
Yeah, it's not like he was getting serviced outside the car. There's also a rule that states that you can kind of be perpendicular in someone else's pit box if you're servicing your car, just because that's the space you have. It's not like you're trying to gain an advantage or anything by it. But
exactly,
we have that happen. Then we have the Denny Hamlin where it just looked like such an awful practice of a road course pit stop at Watkins Glen because everything's backwards. It was just like no one knew what to do.
Yeah, oh no, not at all.
You have tires bouncing everywhere.
Yep.
You got
the air hose
leaving everywhere. And I saw 3 different people really get hit by the hose when it took off. The gas man got tripped up because it was wrapped around his legs. When it snapped, the metal part that screws into the air compressor looks like it whips and hits the tire changer's hand.
That's something.
Goes down.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy who was holding the gun that got it snapped on him went down.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what.
Tires rolling down pit road.
And if is it me, or I know they want to try to keep everything as normal as possible on the Watkins Glen pit stop. That's why I don't know if you noticed, when some of these cars are going in, they're doing the passenger side first, then going around to the driver's side, which is on the outside of pit road. I think NASCAR needs to put something into place saying no matter what it is, you have to do the closest to pit road first, then come around to the pit wall to do your pit stop.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit different if you're only doing a 2-tire stop now.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, unless you're doing 2-tire stops, then all right. But if you're doing... Go ahead.
It's just, it comes down to practice during the week, Ryan, and it's coming from a team that's had a lot of struggles this year, both on pit road and on the racetrack. Something's got to change there. It gives, because that pit crew has lost it. Let me backtrack a little bit. His pit crew hasn't necessarily lost him races. This was a really good opportunity for Denny Hamlin to win this weekend.
Yes, it was.
And his crew kind of costed him a little bit.
They were normally one of the best crews, too.
Countless speeding penalties on the year, which is not his pit crew's fault. That comes down to the driver.
That's driver.
I mean, there's been a lot of 16, 17-second stops on that crew this season, a lot more than I'm used to seeing.
Well, we're used to seeing 12, 13-second stops from that crew.
Well, I'm saying, especially with the change, you don't normally see it, but that's still a really long pit stop for what we have now in place.
Oh, of course.
I think the last pit stop, Chase had a 13.9 pit stop, and the 18 had a 14.1 or something like that.
Yeah, and then plus he had to come back to pit road because they didn't get all the fuel in the car.
So I was just about to get to it. Then on the pace laps, radio into Kyle Busch, and you hear, "Hey, we need you to either come back down pit road or run a couple laps and then come back down. Either way, we're out of this one." And Kyle naturally, what happened? Turns out that the hatch or the breather on the fuel tank?
Something like that.
When they engaged it. So they only got a couple gallons of fuel into it. And the way Kyle Busch battled back, I think he was down to what, was it 30th or 25th?
Something like that, to come up to third.
Which Eric Jones ran out of gas on the last lap, which ended up putting Kyle in
third. All right.
Regardless, I'm glad Chase didn't have to battle that at the end as a fan.
No kidding, because he was definitely determined, very, very determined there. And I tell you what, as much as we hate some of the comments he does, some of the antics that he does, that was a great piece of driving yesterday to come from where he did after that restart, knowing he's hot-headed underneath hot-headed underneath the mic, or in the driver's suit, in the helmet, full of rage, got the road rage going. Green flag comes down, I'm moving no matter what, and he made it all the way up to third. And just imagine, though, what if Chase runs out of gas? That extra time in pit road, there's the win right there for Kyle. If Chase runs out right at turn 6.
Yeah, I mean, he would have technically had an extra lap of fuel than everybody else.
Exactly.
Because, in a situation like that, when you already know you're starting at the tail end, you fill it till it can't be filled no more.
Exactly. Then you go pedal down, or hand down, man down.
One of your favorite sayings.
That's right. Thank you, Mark Jackson.
So, after the race, Kyle Busch getting interviewed, naturally, displeased with what had just happened.
Yep.
But he said a quote that it stuck with me, and it should echo through the garage area for the Hendrick cars, and especially the 9 team.
Echo.
His quote was, "I thought we had about the same car, if not a tick better than the 9. I'm telling you what, Hendrick, Chevy, is this a sign of that turn being made, going back into Chevy and Hendrick's way? Or is it just the 9 car being consistent like it's been all year?"
The big test is this weekend at a high-speed track at Michigan. They've been good at the intermediates like the Bristols, Martinsville, the road courses. See what happens when it comes down to the high-speed track like the Michigan this weekend. And I think you're going to see it, because they said Daryl Jarrett said something, and I caught this on Victory Lap, that they've been doing something underneath the car, like with the chassis, and they've found something with it. So let's hopefully that continues this weekend at the Irish Hills. And by the way, how cool was it to see in Victory Lane all the drivers, even on the victory lap, all these guys coming over, thumbs up.
250 wins, Ryan. Think about that.
Yep.
Hendrick Motorsports, and of all people to do it, it was Chase Elliott to get the 250th win. I thought it would have been Johnson who did it.
It could have been Johnson, but no, it was Chase.
The stats in this one, too. 99 starts to his first win. Another guy who did that was Kyle Larson, but Bill had 115 starts before he got his first win. Both got their first win in a road course. Both had 8 had second place finishes before they won. I think Chase had more top 5s than Bill did at this point. He didn't have more top 10s. Bill had him by a couple. But this was the one that got me. Chase Elliott had like 1,033 laps led. Bill only had 315.
Exactly.
So he's got his dad a little bit there.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said too, like it was during the parade laps. You had all these drivers coming by, congratulating him. He's like, I'm out of gas. The 48 comes by after he had spun and hit the wall. Comes by, stops, back up, pushes him over to victory lane. That right there, I know this is going to upset some people, is the passing of the torch from Jimmy Johnson to Chase Elliott.
So I don't know if I agree with you yet on that. We're talking about a guy who just got his first win. He didn't win a championship yet. I think if he wins a championship, you can say it's a passing of a torch, but you're still talking about a 7-time champion who can flip that switch at any given moment. I still feel Jimmy Johnson at any moment he would want to be could be right back in the top 5 every week.
It's time for him to start showing it then. So
it's great how close him and the 48 and 9 teams have become. They're always sharing data every weekend. They usually are right next to each other in the garage area.
Hendrick as a whole right now is just...
I just think that pays dividends for the entire team.
And I tell you what, like you said, I think the Hendrick guys now, they found that speed. Byron, top 10? Bowman, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I thought he was top 15, maybe? 14th, yes, so top 15. They're finding speed right now.
We want to talk about teammates and teamwork here. When Johnson hits the wall, I heard this play over the scanner sounds after the race. You hear Canal say, get to pit road, get back to pit road, get back to pit road. We can't ruin this race for the 9.
Yep.
That is teamwork.
That is so much teamwork right there. I love it. And this is the first I've heard of that, but that's awesome right there to see it. Okay, if it's Martin Truex Jr. leading in the 9th and 2nd.
If the 48 comes down.
Yeah, it's like, you stay out there.
Hendrick to get 250 wins, it doesn't come as a shock. Maybe this season it comes as a shock because they've just been so below the bar all season long. But once you started seeing the 9 car, the 48 start running the top 10 again for the last 3 weeks, Elliott getting the last 3 weeks a stage win, and then winning today, it's kind of come full circle. You saw that team heading in the right direction. And personally, as a fan, and how we do this every week, you see so many things change with momentum and all that. I think now, as I've been saying since 2016, once that kid gets 1 win, he's going to get a bunch of them. And I think it might start this weekend in Michigan.
How cool would that be?
Because on me, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and then even the 24 team, the 24 and 88, they're showing speed now.
Right off the top, Hendrick was fast this weekend.
Yeah, Byron was 3rd or 4th in the second practice. And go ahead. No, that is good to see. I hope we continue to see it.
I sent you a message on Saturday, Ryan, when practice started that you said Hendrick had good speed or something along those lines, and I told you, I was watching first practice. The 9 was 15th. I flipped to the leaderboard during the second practice and saw that he was down 15th, 19th range, and I'm like, what the hell? I opened up the practice sheets again towards the end of practice, and I saw that the 9 car was P1. I was like, what?
Yep. Yeah, and then, like I said, Byron was 3rd or 4th, and then Bowman had struggles, but when the race came down to the race, got a top 15 finish. Bowman right now is doing what he needs to do to keep that last playoff spot, because right now, if they're from 17 on down, I don't think any of those guys are going to win a race. I'm pulling for Byron to win this weekend.
So it might be a stretch saying this, Ryan. Do all 4 Hendrick drivers get in the playoffs?
No.
I think Byron's going to be the odd man out.
Yeah, Byron's going to be the odd man out right now just because
it's a rookie. It's his first time.
He's only 20 years old. And that's something people have yet to take into granted with this kid. He's 20 years old. People are, like they were announcing it yesterday in the race, has he moved up too soon? Has he moved up too soon? No. He's ready. The kid's ready. The kid's got talent.
I tell you, who's sitting in the corner going like this in the garage area of the Xfinity Series? Christopher Bell.
Oh, yeah.
Every week that 11 struggles, he's just sitting there going, oh, my turn.
Yep. It's a coming very, very soon.
The last thing I wanted to say.
And then when we get to.
I wanted to just say one more thing about the Chase Elliott win was he ran a perfect last 25 laps.
Oh, yeah.
And even with the bobble that he had, when it looked like everyone was going to start saying, oh, we choked it away again. No, he stayed in front, and he took off and got some space in between as soon as he collected himself. So it was just a complete race, finally, without any issues. It just came full circle. Woohoo, first win.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was back to the bus stop.
Shield out of the car.
It was back to the bus stop with 2 to go when Truex overdrives it. Chase pulls away. Sarah's going, come on, Chase. I said, watch out for this turn 1. They do some stupid camera angle. They show the fans before he gets into turn 1. What are you doing? And I'm like, oh, no, Chase is wide. Get down there. He got down there, and then the rest is history. But how cool is it to see his peers come to him in victory lane? Bubba, Kyle, Johnson.
How about Blaney off the plane?
Ryan Blaney off the plane.
He's a winner.
I'm trying to find that video, and I want to show Sarah.
It's on my Twitter, or it's on not my Twitter, our Twitter, the Lugs podcast one. I read.
All right, I got to show her that though. He got Blaine. I think was more happy than Chase was.
He's wearing a Chase Elliott shirt too.
He may have been drinking a little bit more than Chase, but man, them guys are having one hell of a hangover today.
I don't know if they've even woken up yet.
They might not have.
I don't know if they even went to bed.
No, not yet. It's funny, too. I got a Monday Night Raw on, and some guy in the crowd there in Jacksonville tonight, Jacksonville Jaguars 2019 Super Bowl champions.
No, sir, you're going to be cut off from beer for the rest of the evening.
That guy in the crowd should be cut off. Oh, man.
It was just a great race, man.
Yes, it was.
I haven't been this excited for a win since Junior won.
How do you think I feel coming up this weekend?
Yeah, you're going to have to get a picture of that winner decal on the 9 car.
Oh, I will.
So,
man, speaking of which, where are they at this weekend, AJ?
Well, your stage winner's first stage, Martin Truex Jr., second stage, Chase Elliott, your race winner, Chase Elliott, your top 5, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez. Great run by Suarez. I really thought he was going to be able to play spoiler again this week, but just not enough laps ticked off, and then Eric Jones.
Exactly.
Your notable finishers, how about an 8th place run for who you're talking about, William Byron, your driver?
Yes, it is.
A pretty bad 17th place run for Brad Keselowski.
Very, very disappointing. Very disappointing.
It's such a great car on Saturday, and then it just went to Sunday, and it all went to hell.
Yeah, I mean, he runs great at Watkins Glen. Penske think they're all right into the chase? You think they're locked into the chase? Why they're not giving more of an effort? I mean, unbelievable. Like, I was like shocked when you see him. He's like 20th. The highest up, I think he was 8th. And then he dropped back to where he finished 17th.
Yeah.
That team needs to get their head on straight, if you catch my drift.
No, I get where you're going with that. I mean, you don't want to go in the chase, though, without a win. That's just how I feel. And I felt that way since it's all been implemented. You don't want to just get in on points. You want a couple wins to go with it. Because this way you're up there. And when we get to the standings, you'll hear it, because I'm going to mention it when we talk about the standings, how important wins are.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Your last notable finisher, 30th place, was Jimmy Johnson, where he ended up. But here's what I'm talking about with the standings. And it's a big shakeup. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Clint Bowyer, moving up from 14th. Chase Elliott to 5th. That's how important wins are.
Oh, yeah.
Joey Logano, Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, and Alex Bowman.
Bowman's what now, 63?
He's 63 to the good.
He didn't gain any, didn't lose any this past week at Watkins
Lost
Glen.
2 points. I mean,
yeah.
2 points.
2 points is better than losing 20 points, 30
4
points.
races to go before we get to Las Vegas.
Michigan, Bristol. I'm trying to get to here. Indy's the last race. I know that. Hold on, I'll get to you right now. I'm loading her up as we speak. So you got Michigan, Bristol, Darlington is the other track we forgot.
For the throwback week.
Yep, the Southern 500. And then you got Indy, which...
Oh, boy.
Falls out.
That could really change up the standings.
That could? Because there's a car that always runs good at Indy, too. It hasn't in the past, but guy's in 15th right now in points.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yep, and I tell you what, if Hendrick has found something, you'll see it at Indy from him.
I'd like to see how they come off the haulers this weekend. If they're fast off the hauler, I'd say the whole field's on notice.
Yep. I tell you what, though, I'll be at work Friday for the first practice. I think the first practice they said is at noon, if I'm not mistaken. I think Truck's got the early morning session. Mm-hmm. But I'm ready for noon. I want to see what they're looking like, and I want to see qualifying. And I'm calling it right now. Kurt Busch, I think it was 2:12, I think he qualified. I think they're going to qualify faster than that this race.
You think they're going to what?
They're going to qualify faster than what they did in June in this race in August. I think they're going to annihilate the record there.
Your next race, Michigan, Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN, and just Truck Series. Their next race is also Michigan, Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern on FS1. But does Clint Bowyer get the win without the rain-shortened race?
If he brings the same car, he's got a good shot. I think if that race doesn't even, remotely anywhere near weather, I still think Bowyer wins. I thought him and Harvick both had those 2 great cars dialed in.
I thought so too. I really did. That does it for Gas and Go this week. I think I said tire rub earlier. And I think I played the wrong sound effect. I meant to say Gas and Go.
Well, now we got the news segment.
Yep, I wrote down tire rub twice on my paper. I'm pretty sure.
Uh-oh.
It's been the last 2 days have been rolled into one. Yeah, I put tire rub down on both. So we're just gonna play the Gas and Go sound effect for tire rub. So, news of the week. Here we go.
All right.
And just so you know that it is tire rub.
Left side. Pull this left rear fender out, left side.
Between technical difficulties and everything going on this week, and it just my mind being boggled all over the place. Some news of the week here. We got a little bit of breaking news before we went live today, Ryan.
Yes, we did.
How about that for all our listeners? 3 sound effects all rolled into one.
Oh, slide job.
Not that one. Nope, no slide job.
This could be considered a slide job.
Brian France arrested Sunday night with a DUI, as voice crack there. Oxycodone found in the Hamptons. He was arrested. They have the mugshots posted everywhere. He has stepped down indefinitely for the time being. Not a good look.
No, it's not.
Especially there was someone on Twitter, and I'd love to remember who it was so I could give credit here, had posted that this tweet didn't age well, or this quote didn't age well, or this quote aged well.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was a quote from Jeremy Mayfield talking about Brian France, talking about Brian France saying that him telling me to, do the substance abuse stuff, it's the pot calling the kettle black. And,
wow.
Mayfield came out smelling like roses.
Yeah, no kidding. What a black eye for the sport. It's a kick right below the bell right here for the owner of this series, who has more money than any of us can imagine, not to call a cab, not to call a taxi, a limo, anything like that. It's like when Miguel Cabrera for the Detroit Tigers signed a huge deal. Same thing happened to him, DUI. What these people
Ryan, side note. Where'd that happen in?
What's that?
Where'd that happen in?
What, the Cabrera thing? Yep. Detroit.
I thought that was the one that happened in West Palm Beach, Florida. Or Port
There
St.
was
Lucie.
something like that.
My little side note. I'm related to someone who was his transporter that night.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So, but the whole thing with these athletes, owners of teams, you make more money than all of us combined. You should have a personal driver. Why not? I understand this is kind of a joke here. I understand Chase Elliott won. I understand you wanted to party with him.
Sport.
And it's great for the sport that he wanted to celebrate with Chase and Blaney and whoever else that was celebrating with them guys.
Ryan, Patrick brings up a solid point. It's publicity, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that say that all this is not a sport. Oh, it's a bunch of drunk rednecks. Here it is right here. Yeah, it is public, as I did voice crack too.
Sorry, we had voice crack counter at 2 this episode.
Yeah, all right. I don't get it. It's called an OUI. I fell asleep in the car with the keys in the ignition. I got thrown the book at me. I had to pay so much in fines. Don't remember exactly how much it was. I had to stay a night in jail. Not too proud of that moment, but it was out the next day. He got out the same night.
Yeah. He was actually released earlier this morning, but I mean...
early this morning. Yeah, but still. Unreal. Unbelievable.
And Ryan, I see a lot of people saying this is a good thing. Because... And I kind of see where they're coming from with it, because now you might have a situation where we might have rules stay the same. I'm going to go out there and say it. I don't think Brian France is ever going to be back again.
You don't think so?
Maybe a lesser role. He will never be CEO of NASCAR again.
I don't think you should after this.
And I go back to Jeremy Mayfield. Since his issues, he has not set foot in a race car on a NASCAR track.
Nope.
So it's a double standard.
Yes, it is.
And it's embarrassing.
It very is. Did you see the picture I sent you? With it's a put that up on the Twitter page. I forgot, we were somewhere and I saw that and I started laughing so hard. Like I was crying laughing when I saw that photo.
Honestly, I like the one with where they had Brian France's face over Chase's, and it says, "I just feel bad for my guys."
Oh, that was a good one. But
I don't want to make light of the situation. It's a serious situation.
Yeah, very serious situation.
This is a man with a lot of wealth, a lot of power. He's a big figure in the public eye, whether you want to believe that or not. Being that he's done all these things to endorse Trump and all that. I don't want to talk politics on the show, but plain and simple, he's been at a couple Trump rallies to talk. It looks really bad.
Yeah, and did you see the statement he came out with saying he's taking a leave of absence right now? And
yeah, but to Patrick's point, it's publicity.
Uh-huh.
You have what is undoubtedly the sport's most popular driver right now win, and the day after, it's back in the news again for something a little bit different, not something that a NASCAR fan that's already a NASCAR fan wants to hear, but
exactly.
Regardless, it could bring more viewership. You never know.
Could.
Speaking of viewership, Ryan, Watkins Glen earned a 2.3 overnight rating, up from last year's 1.9 rating.
Mm-hmm.
And another sellout, nonetheless.
Yes, it was.
Casey Kane expected to return to LFR. Manufacturer change is possible.
Really?
So they're canceling their, or not canceling, but they're walking away from their RCR combine.
Oh, okay.
I had the right word earlier, and I messed up.
Messed it up.
What I thought was the coolest news this weekend, Ryan, Bill Elliott to return to NASCAR to race the number 23 Xfinity car for GMS at Road America.
Awesome to see. I know him and Evernham doing some road racing a lot lately. I mean, he's not in the NASCAR eye right now, but how cool is that to see? One of my favorites going up. I loved watching him race out at MIS in the 94 McDonald's car, even when he went to Dodge, and that was so cool to hear that. 62 years old, man, still can drive a car.
And maybe that motivated Chase this weekend.
It might have.
It was like, listen here, old man.
Yeah, ain't taking my spot. Ain't taking my thunder.
Oh, man. Ryan, we talked last week about the paint schemes and how it could be messing with the inspection system. And I just had to chuckle at this earlier today. Paint schemes still on issue. NASCAR will make some schemes illegal if they see fit. You didn't thinking about this before the season started?
Well, here's my thing. What about if the Cleveland Browns win 8 football games this year? Are they something with the teams they beat? Something wrong with that? Maybe it's the color of their uniforms, why the Browns won these games, because their orange is too bright of an orange or something. How ridiculous is this?
I love how you get so mad about it.
It's just, who wrote this? Is WWE taking credit for NASCAR stuff now? Oh, your paint scheme's messing up our new system we have.
The thing is, Ryan, is it goes a little bit more in depth. Like, there was a sample image shown. I think it was off of Chris Buescher's car or AJ Allmendinger's car, one of the two. But their paint scheme, where the corners of the fenders meet with the rear bumper,
all right,
it's completely black trim all the way down, and then it just stops. So it might be a situation where the laser can't pick it up.
Well, you know what? You know, if the laser can't pick it up, you go back to your old method. Harry Hogg puts the over the car, the outline of the car. Hey, you're good. Get out there.
Yeah.
All right, is there any more news? Just grinds my gears.
Yes, Hendrick Motorsports and Alex Bowman extend to 2020 with Nationwide. Just a small tidbit there.
Yep. Good for Alex. Good for Alex.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got to think of the car everybody knows the car he took over, the driver who he replaced. So, and for them to do what they did for him, awesome to see.
And when Junior went out with a concussion, they welcomed Alex with open arms.
Of course they did.
When he filled in, and it's a partnership that's continuing to grow. He does a lot of stuff still for Nationwide Children's and the little pet fundraisers they do, which is great.
Yeah, when he was here in Michigan a couple weeks ago, he was promoting the race, and then nationwide, he had a lot of the Nationwide kids out there, and plus it was a pet adoption out there too. So he was out there, enjoying time with the fans and all that. Pictures on Twitter, Facebook, signing stuff, pictures with everybody, just interacting with everybody. That's cool to see right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. All right, let's get into some social media, Ryan. That's where I ran like an idiot for 2 minutes.
2.5.
We are up to 662 downloads on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. 231 followers on Twitter, 58 likes on Facebook, 19 subscribers on YouTube. A couple new follower shoutouts this week, and we're also working on a giveaway for 300 followers on Twitter. We haven't figured out what it is yet, but we're going to work on it a little bit in the next couple weeks, and we'll let you know as soon as we figure out what it's going to be. We have Roberto at LoveNASCAR_10. We have Bill Steinbach at Bill_Steiny3. We have Chris at FLA Trojans. We have Hitting the Apron at Hitting the Apron. And DMIC Media at DMIC Media. Thanks for the follows, and if you guys want to go check them out, go right ahead, give them a follow, help them out. Podcast shoutouts this week include the Lap Traffic Podcast, the PTM Podcast, the My Opinion Therefore Fact Podcast, the All Turns No Breaks Podcast, the Bump and Run Podcast, and Creditcast 3 Wide Podcast, the NASCAR Opinion, the Final Lap Weekly, the Side Draft Podcast, and some places you can find us. iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, the Loose Lugs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, follow, turn on your notification bells. This way you know every time we upload new content. On Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast. You can tweet with us about the show using the hashtag LugsPod. On Facebook, in your search bar, we are the Loose Lugs Podcast. Give us a thumbs up on there. Our personals, myself, Greg Goose F150 on Twitter, and Ryan.
Our Rancola 88.
Ryan.
Yes.
You had to narrow down some rants this week to only a couple, because I know you had several.
Well, I did get into the France issue and the Joey Logano issue on pit road. All right.
Well, Ryan, what do you have for us now?
What do I have for you now, AJ? Well, let's see, guys. And this is, I know you have this issue out at Daytona. That is issues with your cell phones at racetracks.
Here you go again.
Yeah, here we go again. I don't think I've ever ranted about this right before. You guys can quote me if I'm wrong, but the service, ever since it's no longer Sprint. When it was Sprint, oh man, how cool was that? I'm talking to my dad as they're doing pace laps, getting ready to throw the green flag. I got people on, the Facebook live time. Hey, look at this, guys, they're getting ready to go green. Not no more. There was a thing at Daytona. It was Junior, Rutledge Wood, and they had Denny Hamlin, Stenhouse, Bubba. Rutledge asked the drivers, what do you want to see at the tracks? One of them said more fan interactions. The other said better cell service at the tracks. I agree 110%. When I'm in my parking spot, my service is fine. I get up to the track where I'm like, oh, cool, we got all these radios here, all this, antennas that broadcast this race, worldwide, everybody. No bars. No bars. Please fix your cell phone issues at the racetrack. Everybody nowadays owns a cell phone. I don't know any household that owns a regular house phone. AJ, do you guys own a house phone?
No.
Okay. We do not own a house phone. Our cable company tried to sell us a deal that had a house phone. We're like, we would never use it. We have our cell phones. We pay a lot of money for them. Please fix your towers. AJ, like I said, I know you've had issues with it at Daytona.
Not this time. It was better.
Well, surprisingly, it was better. But I'm hoping this weekend out at Michigan, I know Michigan's in not really the boonies, but it's in a secluded area, which it is. Please fix the service.
Any more rants?
No, because when I was at Bristol, perfect service, everything. Kentucky was pretty good too. I didn't have a cell phone when I went to Charlotte. No one. So, but no, please, just that's all we ask for is to, because like the tweet up, I missed the tweet up in June because of my terrible service out there.
It's frustrating, man, when you pay all that money to go somewhere and you'd like to share the experience with other people who can't make it, so you try to post stuff to Facebook, Twitter, call people, send text messages, and you can't because you don't have any service. And it's supposed to be like, oh, we got the best service of any racetrack around, and it's like, oh, no, you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
But credit to Daytona, they fixed it this year.
In June,
400.
Yeah, wasn't it in June you were going to give me for the Twitter page where I would have been in charge of the Twitter page? I'm like, I don't get no service out there, and I knew it going out there. I'm not going to get hardly any service out there, which I get service when we got to the check in the parking spot. We get up near the check, nothing.
It just sucks.
But it really does. I mean, it's like, I want to, go Facebook Live during pace laps. Maybe get the green flag lap in there. It just, it's just irritating.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Watching Mojo Raleigh wrestle.
Oh, man. Is that it for the rants this week, Ryan?
Yeah, it is for the rants, so.
All right, let's get into the white flag.
I think that's a pretty good rant.
In line with you, coming to the white. Only two.
All right, white flag is where we're going to do our predictions for Mid-Ohio for the Xfinity Series and Michigan for the Trucks and Cup, including our sleepers for the Cup Series. Ryan, you already saw my picks when I sent you the show sheet this week, so I'm going to let you go first, seeing as how you should be different from mine.
Yeah. And for the Trucks, oh, man, give me Ben Rhodes.
Going to take Ben Rhodes in the 41 car.
Yeah.
Carolina Nut car this week?
I hope so. That's a cool looking truck.
You might be out there for it.
I may be out there. Like I said, yeah, we got to discuss a few things, but more than likely I'll be out there. Watch the truckers go.
I'm taking Johnny Sauter in the 21.
Johnny Sauter.
I went with an easy pick this week.
Yeah, you did.
The Xfinity Series at Mid-Ohio. Ryan, who are you taking?
Oh, the question is, do we have any road course ringers this weekend at Mid-Ohio? If not, give me Brandon Jones.
Taking Brandon Jones. Judging by his performance last weekend and his second place finish last season at Mid-Ohio, I'm taking Daniel Hemrick here.
Your pick.
And the Cup Series, Ryan will definitely be at this race. Ryan, who are you picking?
I'll let you go first.
All right, so I always find it tough to not pick Kyle Larson when we come to Michigan, so my pick of the week is Kyle Larson. My
Good pick.
sleeper, riding the hot streak, entering Michigan, I'm going to take the 9 at Chase.
All right, good picks. Good picks. Man, as y'all know, I'm going to be out there. My buddy's a big Toyota fan I'm going with. He's a big Kyle Busch fan. I do not want to see that, nor do I want to see Hamlin. I wouldn't, if Toyota wins, I'm picking the 78 at Truex. I think he gets it done.
Patrick's going to like that pick.
I know Patrick's going to like that pick. Like I said, we are doing the Q&A with him. And when he was on Wednesday with Dale on this past week, he had a Mackinac Island shirt on, which is cool, which is up in northern Michigan. So we got to represent that. And my dark horse, my sleeper, because I'm a fan of his, and I'd be out there, like to see that first one. Give me the 24.
Taking the 24.
I think they in June they were running good. They were in the top 10. Late pit stop, then the rain came. He ended up finishing 14th or 15th.
Wow. Okay.
But I think one of the big three get it done this weekend. I think Truex is the guy's going to get it done. I think, unfortunately.
Oh, it's not unfortunate.
Not unfortunately, but I'm just saying I don't like seeing Toyota win.
Well, that's always how you've been since I came into the sport.
Yeah, you've seen a Toyota win.
Yeah, I have.
I've seen
twice.
I've seen too many of them win. So I mean,
well, Ryan, what a great show this was. It was off the rails a little bit because of my head being all over the place.
Well, and a little hiccup during the
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville and Awesome Chase, who finally won a race.
That's right. That's right.
So it's time to sign off on the show this week. It was a fun one. Ryan, you will see everybody at the track, so why don't you hit them with it?
Guys, I hope to see you all out at the track this weekend. If you are going out there this weekend to Michigan International Speedway, shoot me a message on Twitter. Let me know where you're sitting, what time you guys are getting out there. I'll be in section 42. We're going to be high up, about 30 rows up. And it's funny, too, because the tickets are 10 and 11. And my buddy Ryan's like, I'll take seat 11 for you. And I'm like, good, because I wasn't going to take it anyway. So it's an inside joke him and I have. He knows I don't like any of the Gibbs guys. But, guys, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. A couple days, I'll be seeing you guys all at Michigan International Speedway. So I'll see you at the track.
Everyone have a good time this weekend. Ryan, you especially have a great time at the track this weekend.
I definitely will.
Special thanks goes out to Tony, Patrick for joining us in our chat this week. To everyone else who tuned in live, thank you. Anyone listening right now on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher, thank you so much for tuning in to us. Chase 911, woohoo! From my end. Let's hope he can ride that into Michigan. Have a fun, fast weekend in Michigan, everybody.
There is one.